Welcome back to Fight Network Boxing Weekly here on SiriusXM Channel 167, SiriusXM Canada Talks. Corey Erdman here with you. We've been talking about this Friday night show in Montreal. That's going to be on TSN, and headlining that show, he's going to be taking on Abraham Gomez in the main event. Is my good pal Tyson Cave. What's going on, man?
Hey, yo, what's up? What's going on, everybody?
You're going to be in the main event, as I just mentioned, on TSN, back on Canadian soil. Getting the chance to headline in Montreal is something that every Canadian fighter kind of has to do as they come up. Maybe it isn't the ideal circumstance. We'll get back to what happened to you in your last fight, but I'm sure you're excited about the prospect of being at the top of a bill in Montreal.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be back home. Glad to be, blessed with the Canadian fans. I had tremendous support from my last fight, and I'm just glad to be, I'm glad to be a Canadian fighter, because I think that right now we have one of the best in the world, and what a better place than, I think Montreal in North America is probably the best and the biggest place to fight if you're a fighter.
And you have, before the Escandone fight, you inked a deal with Samson Boxing, and now you also have the backing of Global Legacy, who seems to really be throwing themselves behind you and coming up with plans, ways to get you in front of Canadian audiences on Canadian television. What's that been like for you? Really having a lot of enthusiasm behind you, whereas maybe that wasn't there for you before.
Yeah, it's great. I have the powerhouse of Samson Boxing behind me. Me and Samson sat down and talked about it. He wasn't very happy what happened in the last fight, but at the end of the day, we're both his fighters, so he has to do what's best for his business, and what's best for his business is getting me into another shot being a world champion. And I think the best way to do that is me being a Canadian fighter, one of the up-and-coming guys. Is to go with Global Legacy, and Les Woods and Jim Jennels is right now. I think they're going to be controlling the boxing that's coming out of Canada right now, except for Quebec. Besides being one of the English-speaking fighters, I think that I'm the top guy right now of any English-speaking fighter in Canada and in North America, I might as well say. And Les Woods and these guys, they got a busy schedule. I'm fighting March 27th here, then I'm fighting April 30th in Winnipeg, then I'm fighting May 29th in Halifax, and then I'm fighting June 21st in Calgary. So I got 4 fights in 4 months. And Global Legacy and Samson Boxing says by then I'll be the #1 in the world, and then no one can hide from me then.
I mean, that must be refreshing in itself. I mean, the fact that if there was a time in your career when you didn't know when your next fight was coming, and maybe you had to finance some of your own fights, and now you almost have too many to choose from. You have 4 in 4 months.
The thing is I've always told everyone that I am one of the best fighters in the world. I just needed a chance to show myself and showcase myself. I got that chance with Samson Boxing, and I totally schooled a guy who everyone thought that was going to knock me out. No one gave me a chance, and I thought that I won 10 out of the 12 rounds. I took 1 round off to play around, and then he won a round. So I think everyone really takes Tyson Cave serious now, and if they don't, then
my next question was going to be, could you find a round that you thought maybe he won in that fight? So you think you won 10-2. I think 12-0 would have been all right. 11-1 would have been okay as well. Can you wrap your head around how exactly the judges came to that conclusion?
I don't know how they came to it. At the end of the day, I'm God bless myself and God bless everyone, and no one got hurt in the fight. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm fighting 4 times. When's he fighting? Where's he at? Where's his name? His name's nowhere. That belt means nothing to him. You know what I mean? A belt is only good as someone who has. You know what I mean? There's tons of titles out there. Right now, if Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather fought for the WBUKC ABC belt, that belt would be the top belt. It's about the man who has the belt. And I don't think he can fulfill the shoes that have the belt. And obviously he can't, because I'm the guy who's moving on and I'm moving forward. And I'm the guy that they're all talking about. I'm the guy that Santa Cruz doesn't want to fight. I'm the guy Quig doesn't want to fight. I'm the guy that Frampton doesn't want to fight. And I'm the guy who Redondo doesn't want to fight, because they've already asked Redondo to fight me, and he doesn't want none of me. And Redondo is probably the best boxer in the world besides Floyd Mayweather. So I know that I'm doing something right, and it's out of Canada, and that's why I'm proud.
Well, do you think then, in a funny way, that what happened to you might have been the best case scenario, because let's say the judges scored the fight how it actually went and you completely dominated Escandón, you wind up with a title. Maybe people forget that main event. Maybe they don't talk about it afterwards, but now everyone's going to remember who you are. Everyone remembers that fight, even though it was because they remember your performance, they remember how poorly it was judged. People remember who you are, and now clearly in some way you have benefited from it because you have all of this on your schedule and you have all these offers that you're dealing with.
At the end of the day, I've been in this game for 18 years. I did this for my family. The only problem with this was I'm not making the money that I wanted to be making. After this guy's getting very big paydays, probably to fight no one. But I'm just happy that it was on TV, because if it wasn't on TV, no one would have saw it, and no one knew who I am. And I would have liked to be world champion. I'd be the champion of the world, and that's every kid's dream when you walk into the gym and be the number one fighter in the world. But I know that I will get there with my team. My team is strong. Frampton Boxing, Global Legacy, Les Woods, Jim Jennels, with my father also. I got a strong team, and I know that I'm strong because none of them want to fight me. They never gave me a chance to beat Coach A. I schooled him. They never gave me a chance to beat Escandón. I schooled him. So now I know that none of the other guys want to fight me. But when I'm number one in the world, they have no choice.
Well, even though you have, you have those credentials now, and you have 2 great wins, or what should have been 2 great wins back to back. Excuse me. You still have people who criticize your style in the ring, and you've been hearing this your entire career. You'll have some people who love watching you fight, who find you extremely entertaining with the way you fight and your athleticism, and then you'll have other people who say all he does is run for 12 rounds. How do you respond to people who are critical of your style in the ring?
If you want to see a street fight, go watch MMA. You have to realize that. This is the sport of boxing, the sweet science. Regardless, this is what it's about. And I'm not going to take punishment for nobody. The only guy who ever really gave me punishment was Sebastian Gauthier. In my opinion, Sebastian Gauthier stopped Escandón. Because if you saw my face after the Gauthier fight, I was in a fight. I was in a fight when I fought Gauthier. I was in a sparring session against Escandón. And I praised Gauthier. He was a great friend. He was a great champion. And Gauthier, that fight gave me the will to say, holy, every fighter knows that they're good. But, when I beat Gauthier the way that I did, I said, man, I am good. And, I thank Gauthier for giving me the chance to let me fight him. And then that took him to class. And I took some big shots from Gauthier. And Gauthier punched 10 times harder than Escandón. So I knew Escandón couldn't hurt me. So Escandón was a sparring session.
The shots that you took against Gauthier, was some of that because you were kind of standing around, just to make it a little bit more of a fight, or was it something that Gauthier just better than Escandón and was able to get to you a little bit more?
Gauthier is better than Escandón. I don't want to get hit. Everyone knows that. I'm the last guy who wants to get hit in a fight. And Gauthier had a great game plan, and every round was close. I didn't know if I won or not. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I thought that I won, but it was a close fight, and that prepared me for the Escandón fight. And then I went out there and I did what I did to Escandón, and now I'm ready to do it to somebody else on Friday night. I'm just moving. I'm here to push forward. The prince is here. You know what I mean? I will soon be king, and that's on my agenda. I'm still the prince right now. I will soon be king. By 2015, I will be the king of the super bantamweight.
Well, you brought up some of those top names, and some of the names that have been floated around, rumored around you. You brought them up, Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton as well. Give me the scouting report. How do you think that you match up with either one of them individually in a given fight?
I think the best fighter out of all of them. I'm on the phone, baby. I think the best fighter out of them all is Frampton. I think the most dangerous fighter out of them all is Lagondo. I think the most punch volume is Santa Cruz, and I think Scott was the bum.
Does that mean you'd prefer to get in there with Scott Quigg?
No, I'd rather get in there with Frampton. I want the best. I've already had a contract signed with Quigg. And
yeah.
He would. Then they found out. They took a look at some YouTube, and they knew what they're getting into. Now that I have confidence, now they really don't want none of me. So at the end of the day, I want Frampton. That's what I want. I want Carl Frampton.
And how do you think, what would you be able to exploit with Carl Frampton? Because we've seen him as a very smart pressure fighter, maybe in the spirit of a guy like Gauthier, maybe a little bit more technically sound. What would you be able to do with him technically in the ring? What would you be able to exploit in his game?
Just do what I do. That's exactly what, you know what I mean? When I sign him with a big fight, you can ask Gauthier. Even me and him are great friends. But then I start my assault. Once I get you mad, once I get into your head, it's over. And that's what I do with Frampton. Frampton, I don't think he has the smarts enough not to get caught up in my bowl. That's what I call it, my bowl, my BS. And once I get into BS mode and I start getting to him, Facebooking him, tormenting him, then it's over. Then I know he's going to start throwing stupid punches. I make people want to hurt me and kill me. And then that's when they make the mistakes.
Well, let's talk about Friday's fight then, taking on Abraham Gomez. And a lot of people would categorize this, and I'm sure you would too, as a stay busy fight, something that a fight on your way to one of these bigger fights that we're talking about right now. Is it more difficult to get up for a fight like this against a guy that maybe you don't know quite as much about?
God. Listen, this is a dangerous fight. These guys are the most dangerous guys. A guy like Gomez is a little bigger than me. The weight's a little heavier. He's been in there with some big guys. Kevin Levy couldn't stop him in Montreal. This is a guy that if he beats Tyson Cage, then he's straight back on top to a bigger payday. If Tyson Cage goes out there and loses to Carl Frampton, say Tyson Cage lost to a world champion. Tyson Cage can't lose to an Abraham Gomez. So, I'm very focused right now. My mind's on the fight. My mind's on Abraham right now. And I got to be able to get through. I got to be able to try to speak some Spanish or something, see if I can get to him. I don't speak Spanish right now, but I do what I do. Body language is always clear.
That was my next question. What are you going to do with him on Facebook? You don't even speak his language. It's going to be tough for you.
I got Ray Morales, #1 matchmaker in the world. Great Mexican. We'll get him going.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the fight on Friday night. We'll see you out in Montreal, man. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, take care. That was Tyson Cave, one of the best super bantamweights in the world, and that is all the time we have for today on Fight Network Boxing Weekly. Thank you so much for listening. MMA Meltdown Radio is up next.